Banks, the guy we had on from Sarasota. There we go. Want to come sit down?
Sure.
You got to follow Titus O'Neil though. Yeah. So yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound too good. He's a star.
Yeah. Well, he didn't. I tried to get him riled up on the Bulldogs, the Gators Bulldogs. Here, come a little bit closer.
All right.
But he said, "No, I can't go too far right now because we haven't beat them in a while. Once we get a win under our belt, I'll let it go."
Basketball.
Oh, that's right.
Basketball. We can beat
Can
Georgia
we
in
talk?
basketball.
Can we talk about this basketball team? Good golly! I mean, they beat 2 number ones.
Yeah.
The SEC is maybe better than one of the divisions in the NBA at this point. It's that good.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, very. Walter Clayton Jr. They've got some really good players.
They do. Reminds me a lot of the 2005, 2016. They don't have an Al Horford. They don't have a beast
Right in the middle.
but they have some size. And as you mentioned, Walter Clayton, the guy can light it up.
Good
he can
God.
make threes. There's
Good
no doubt.
golly, he's good.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. So what's going on in your world? How's life?
Well, life's good.
Yeah.
Figuring this retirement stuff out. And
I see you on TV every now and then.
Every now and
They're
then,
still
yeah.
working you a little bit.
I'll be doing the Players Championship coming up here in March. And I also got good news. I'll be doing the Valspar Championship
Oh, awesome.
for NBC. So
Fantastic.
that's great. Always fun to be able to do your hometown event and
Absolutely.
talk about a golf course that I've known since the day that it first opened.
Yeah, you probably have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to that.
A little bit with that
Field
Kemper
looks
head
good.
course.
Field looking good.
Field looks good. So it should be fun. And then also have a chance to be involved in the U.S. Open telecast as well. So that'll be good.
So now you just get all the peachy assignments. This is like better than when you were working, right?
Well, I don't know. Don't make quite as much money, but but it's fun to be able to be a part of it still. And
Yeah.
as I tell a lot of people, the call on the golf is fun. I thoroughly enjoy it, but the best part is getting back and seeing people.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to do NBC Golf telecast for 26 years. And in that period of time, you meet a lot of people, you make a lot of good friends. Caddies, instructors, players, tournament directors,
Yeah.
PGA Tour officials. And then when you're not working anymore, you figure out that the only time you saw those people was when you were working.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to go back and see some of those folks and just, kind of catch up.
So, what do you think of the start of the PGA Tour so far this year?
Well, interesting. Obviously, with Scheffler out, and coming back now after the freak hand injury.
Thanksgiving can be a bear.
Well, how about, did you hear about it? I mean, did you get the details?
No, give me the.
All right, so apparently they were trying to make homemade ravioli. Okay, so they had the dough.
Right.
So they didn't have a cutter. So he decided to take a wine glass and turn it upside down and push down on the base.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, of course, the base snaps.
Yes.
And the stem goes into the palm of his right hand. I guess he was bleeding pretty badly. Fortunately, he has a very good friend that lives a couple doors down who's a doctor. They called him. He got over there and kind of stemmed the bleeding. And it was a couple of days after they figured out that he had some remains of the glass shards embedded in his palm, so he had to actually have surgery on it. So
no tendons or anything.
I don't
no
think
structural.
So. From what I've heard and read, no structural damage, but a good 5 or 6 week period there where he really didn't do much. So he's kind of coming back. We got Schauffele on the IR. He's got a rib injury, and saying that he probably won't be back until Bay Hill in another few weeks. So, from that standpoint, you're missing two of, you were kind of missing two of the bigger players early on the tour. But McIlroy came through with a nice win at Pebble Beach. This kid that won yesterday at San Diego at the Genesis, that got moved from Riviera in L.A. down to Torrey Pines. Ludwig Oberg,
he's amazing.
I watched him last year up close at the Players. Talked to his caddy, Joe Scovrin, who I've known for years, who caddied for Ricky Fowler for a long time. This kid is a superstar in the making. He really is.
Well, you mentioned him before everybody knew him on this show. I remember you talking about him. You said, watch this kid.
Well, he just does everything well. Got a great demeanor about him. Plays quickly. I mean, just everything about him shows me that this guy's got what it takes. And then to do what he did yesterday, birdieing 4 out of 6 holes there at the end to take a tournament.
And that's not the easiest golf course in the world.
No, not at all. I mean, I won there back in 1984, but it wasn't nearly as hard then. They've added a lot of length and a lot of rough.
Yeah. So there's rumblings here For whatever reason, I'm hearing Trump is involved. That somehow, and the players I think are pretty sick of the whole division, right? And they're going to figure this out. And we're going to get the PGA Tour back to what it used to be.
I would be surprised if there isn't an announcement made fairly soon.
Nice.
Now, what that will entail, I have no idea. But I think you're right. I think the players are tired of this, back and forth, this division that's been created. Certainly the fans are.
Yes.
And the tour did a survey at the end of the year last year, 50,000 people that attended PGA Tour events in the course of 2024, and that was the number one thing that they talked about.
Wow.
Was the division with the tour and LIV.
And those are your P1
right
people.
Now they also mentioned slow play, which I think is another big issue that the tour is facing, and they need to do something about it, and I think they will. What this agreement or merger or whatever you want to call it looks like, I have no idea. That I don't know. And I'm the few players that I have talked to, I don't think they have any idea either.
Yeah.
But it needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little local golf scene. And by the way, I don't know if you were out there on Saturday at Palmacia with the Gasparilla Invitational. They bring the best amateurs in the nation in to play our course, 63.95. I think we had it stretched out to. I think we had a tee in the kitchen. I think it went on 10. But just watching those players and how they play that golf course, the crowd is huge. It's just a great local event, and it came down to the very last hole. Guy almost hit a sand shot in on 18 to force a playoff. That is a treasured local event, and I know you know a lot about it.
Oh, yeah. No, it really is. I mean, it's been around forever. Close to 100 years now.
Yeah.
And, the guys there at Palmacia, Kevin Vetkowski has kind of taken the lead as quote-unquote tournament chairman. And they've really done a great job of inviting top, mid-amateur players from all over the country. And the event is just growing in stature. The more you get good guys to come and play, and they rave about the tournament, and the more guys hear about it, and a lot of it's word of mouth. The play was good. The courses. It's
4 under,
it's
3 days.
The funniest little golf
3 days,
course. You
4 under.
Look at the scorecard. You play a practice round, and you think, hey, I'm good. I ought to shoot 3 or 4 under every time I play this course, and it never seems to happen.
Why is that?
I think it's a combination of things. One, especially this year, the rough was very prevalent.
I played yesterday.
Yeah, the overseeded rough was a big factor. The other is, the greens are tricky. A lot of little Donald Ross fall off areas, and if you don't hit the ball in just the right place, you'll see your ball kind of trickling off the edge, and the next thing you know, it's 20 yards off the green, and you have a very difficult shot left from there. I think, too, a lot of how the game is played now, it's played so aggressively.
Yeah.
And to me, Palmacia is a golf course that you don't necessarily need to play super aggressively to shoot a good score. Being in play off the tee, critical. Play into the middle of the greens a lot of time. Having that discipline to do that probably pays reward.
Very Augusta-esque.
Very much so.
Yeah. And we've got Jackson Suber, who grew up at Palmacia, who's now on the tour, had a top 10, I think, is second or third, or top 20.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, in Hawaii at the Sony Open. Yeah. No, he was top 10. Yeah. Had a great finish. And, a couple of people asked me about that, and I know Jackson, great guy, great young man. Comes from a wonderful family.
Indeed.
Great, background there at Palmacia and Tampa. The biggest takeaway to me, all of a sudden, you prove to yourself you belong. And to be able to do that in literally his first start of the year, that's a tremendous confidence boost, because I don't care how good you are. When you first get out on the PGA Tour, you're playing against guys you've watched on TV, players you've idolized, you've followed their careers, you know how good they are. And there's always that little doubt in your mind, am I good enough to compete with these guys on a regular basis? And for him to go out there and finish in the top 10 the very first week has to fill him with a lot of confidence. We know he has the game. I mean, those of us that know him, you've probably played with him, I've played with him. I mean, he has. Oh yeah, he has
but
the game.
he's got the whole package.
He does, and looking forward to watching the continuation of his career. I'm sure he'll be playing this week. They go down to Mexico to play the event there. I'm sure he'll be playing.
Will he get in Valspar?
I think he is going to get in Valspar, and if he doesn't get in on his own, I'm sure he'll get an exemption.
He should.
I'd be shocked if we don't see Jackson Super in the field at Valspar.
All right, a quick etiquette question here. So you see this swelling I have on my hand here?
Yeah, that would be your left hand just below the base of your thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is courtesy of Al Rogers. You know Al? He's a member over at Palm City.
So
I'm standing behind. I'm on the 9th tee. I'm standing behind the 8th tee.
Yeah.
Right, and I'll get my hands behind my back, having a nice casual conversation when a ball hits me on the fly.
Ouch.
I mean,
ouch.
Stings me.
Ouch.
No forecall.
Ouch.
No forecall.
Whoa.
No, and I look back at the tee. Nobody's doing the I'm sorry thing. Just
ouch.
Like,
ouch.
And then they drive up and they're laughing.
Ooh.
I don't.
Ooh.
There's Bill Curtis involved in that as well.
Oh.
How would you as a long time? If
I would say
the great
he's
golf
very
ambassador.
lucky that you didn't go after him with a club. I know plenty of guys that would have done that.
Yeah.
Had you gotten hit without anybody yelling for, and then almost like they're making a joke out of it. Yeah.
That's just poor. That's poor.
I mean,
that's worth what?
At
least a couple of bottles of my favorite.
I would think so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or I might have to get Scott Jeeves involved with the Jeeves Law Group too.
There
might
you
have
go.
to do that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get it in case we have to. I need testimony from an expert.
All right.
That would be good.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much for stopping by.
All right.
I appreciate that. You're
great.
The best.
I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you soon. Have fun today. The great Gary Koch right there. At the Tampa Sports